Okay, so we talked a lot before about the abuse that happened to me when I was a kid, physical, mental, psychological, all of that stuff. Um, Today I was going to talk a little bit about just neglect and how that affects me, um, even in non-psychological ways. Um, so, growing up, you would have thought that we were dirt poor, and we were for a while. However, around 1990, Don bought a house. Um, he actually bought the house while I was in Kentucky being kidnapped by Gloria, but anyway, he bought a house. He had a house, he had land, um, he had horses, he had a wagon, like the ones that you horses pull. Those things aren't exactly cheap. Massive barn, an outbuilding. It was I had never really seen anything like that before. The first house that I lived in was this tiny little house that had neighbors immediately on each side. And then when my parents divorced, uh, Dawn got a trailer and a trailer park, and the definition of a white trash trailer park. Um, and then miraculously, he had the money to buy this house. I found out not that long ago that he bought the house for dirt cheap, which is not really the point. The point is that he had a house and he had land and he had a really good job. Um, Again, this was the 90s, and you know, the economy was doing well. He was making good money. He was married to a woman. She also worked in a manufacturing job. They were really pretty good. He had insurance. He had rental insurance. Don has perfect teeth. He goes to the dentist for his 6 month checkups. I have really messed up teeth. Not only did I not go to the dentist, but I wasn't taught how to properly take care of myself. Um, I know from my friends who have kids, from helping to take care of my nephews when they were smaller, I know what goes into, teaching a kid about hygiene. And no one taught me to brush my teeth. And a lot of kids don't want to brush their teeth. No one taught me mouthwash, floss, none of this. Um, how to properly bathe myself. You don't just like put the soap on. You actually scrub. People didn't. I wasn't taught this stuff. Um, and that's why I have messed up teeth. Um, I wasn't always taken to the doctor when I was supposed to be taken to the doctor. I had I used to have this thing where I would get dizzy a lot, and um, eventually, because I was a cheerleader at the time, the woman who was over the cheerleading squad, I can't remember her name, you know, we had to get physicals, and I told the doctor physical about the, you know, the way I would sometimes get really dizzy. And I was supposed to go to a doctor about that. They even sent, you know, a note or a letter to my dad, to Don, explaining to him that I had this problem, and that I needed to go to the doctor, that sounded like it could be something serious. It wasn't until I was 19, I think. 19, that's right. I could have been 18. I was 19. That I used my husband at the time, Daniel's insurance, to find out that I had a heart condition, and the heart condition may or may not have caused that problem. I've had a stomach issue my entire life. It wasn't until I was in my 30s and married, my second husband that I got to find out what was up with that. And it's scary because my digestive tract has basically eroded to the point that it doesn't want to always accept food. I have to take medicine every day, just to get my digestive tract to accept food. And this is a direct result of not getting the medical care that I needed when I was a kid. Now, I understand, I don't want to put this out there and have people be like, well, you're judging me for not being able to take care of my kid, we're poor. No, I understand if you're poor. And I thought we were poor because it seems like we never had any money. But now that I'm an adult and I look back, we weren't that poor. If you can afford Tennessee walking horses, if you can afford gated horses, and you can afford to keep them in hay and grain and pay the fees for all these shows and pay the fees for all of these parades and whatnot, then you can afford to take your child to the doctor. If you have insurance, you can afford to take your child to the doctor. Now, I understand being underinsured, and it would be reasonable to assume that we were just underinsured if, say, Don never had medical care. But he did. He went to the doctor. He went to the doctor to have a vasectomy when I was a teenager. He went to the doctor to have surgery on his eye, to remove sty. He, when he was married to his second wife, I want to say, anyway, he was married to one of his wives, Darlene. She, had her hysterectomy surgery. I didn't go to the doctor. And I know that I complained about these things because it's always been very painful. Things that most people just take for granted. Like, put jalapenos in, that soup. But put jalapenos on that sandwich. I have to really think about, like, eat the jalapenos. But if I eat the jalapenos, I'm going to be in an incredible amount of pain later. And I don't mean like just, oh, it hurts, I have gas, or, oh man, indigestion. I mean, it's going to bring tears to my eyes for probably about 2 days. I will be literally in tears for about 2 days. Which isn't normal. Or, most people can just drink coffee. And I have to, sometimes I go to drink coffee and I can't. But there's just such a strong gag reflex because my stomach is like, no, you're not accepting this. And it's not just things that are, necessarily possibly bad for your stomach, like spicy foods or caffeine. I mean, it can be a piece of bread. And my stomach is like, no, you're not eating that. We're not accepting that right now. Call back later. And it's weird. And I've become so accustomed to it. I've become so accustomed to it that it was just normal for me. And then my husband, when I married my current husband, he was like, that's so normal. Most people don't do that. It's so normal. Likewise. I mean, I have HPV, which comes from, sex. It's the leading cause of cervical cancer. I have it, and there's cysts, like, completely covering my reproductive tract. And maybe if I had gone to a gynecologist for more than just put her on the pill, maybe we would have found that sooner. As much as I was molested and raped as a child, it's very likely that I contracted this through a violent sexual act. And, if I had been given proper medical care, maybe I wouldn't have the threat of cancer hanging over my head now. Maybe I wouldn't have the threat of stomach cancer because, cancer is basically just, mutated cells, abnormal cells. And so, all of the, it's like if you get acid reflux and you keep it for a prolonged period of time, it can erode the cells and it increases your chances of getting esophageal cancer. According to my last doctor, take that same basic premise and apply it to my entire digestive tract. Everything from esophagus, throughout my colon, the whole thing. I know it's kind of gross, but it's the truth. I don't know. I think people still think, well, why are you so hung up on all the stuff that's happening when you were a kid? Well, because it keeps hitting me in the face. Like, every day, it hits me in the face. Every day when one of my body systems does something that it's not supposed to do. And I'm like, my husband and I were talking the other day because I have, right now, something weird going on in my throat. I've had a sore throat for 2 weeks, but I haven't had a fever, and my lungs have hurt and been fairly congested for the last 2 weeks. But again, no fever, it's kind of weird. And so my husband, while we wait for my appointment to the doctor, I'm going to try to gargle. Because antiseptic, and then maybe that can help if it's like some kind of bacterial infection. If not, worst case scenario, I'm cleaning my mouth. So, and then I tried to gargle and swallowed all of the mouthwash. And it's because I didn't practice when I was a kid. Like, no one ever told me, hey, gargle. Don't just brush your teeth, gargle. I didn't know that I was supposed to brush my tongue until I was in my teens. Is that something that most people probably learn when they're kids? Like, you mouthwash, floss, brush your tongue. Your tongue also gets dirty, brush your tongue. It's just weird, like all of the things people say that I know that I didn't learn. And, people will be like, well, you're this brilliant person and you're, supposed to be some kind of genius or whatever, so why don't you know X, Y, and Z? Never taught these things. No one ever taught me these things. Sometimes it still almost gets tears to my eyes and like, I just don't understand. Even today, don't understand why you would have kids if you're not going to take care of them. I think about that in reference to Dawn. I think about that in reference to Gloria. I think about that in reference to my brother. Why would you have kids if you're not going to take care of them? There are people like me who would give their lives to which granted right now isn't in the best of shape, to have a kid. All these people who have kids and don't take care of them. And okay, yeah, part of it you could chalk it up to the fact that they're all addicts. But you can't chalk all of it up to that. There was times of sobriety. There were times of, when they were more clear-headed. Yet, I don't know. And yet nothing, and yet I wasn't taken care of, and yet I saw things I shouldn't have seen, and yet things happened to me that shouldn't have happened. And the older I get, the more I realize that being psychologically healthy doesn't mean that I'm over what happened. It just means that I accept what happened and I'm no longer allowing it to control my life. That's the goal. Because it still upsets me. I still get angry sometimes that I was treated the way that I was. I still get angry sometimes that my nephews were put through what they've been put through. Still get angry, and upset and sad and depressed. I just deal with it as it comes. But I think this has psychological effects. And people always tell me that I look so much younger than I am. You don't look 33. But then they see my medicine cabinet and they see all those medicines that I have to take, none of which is narcotics. All of the medicines that I have to take every day just to be able to eat, just to be able to process food. All of the hospital bills and all of the doctor's appointments that I have to make to keep an eye on my body to make sure that those cysts don't turn to cancer, or if they do, that something is done the second that happens, to make sure that this cough isn't something more serious, because my immune system has been compromised, and now, I can get sick at the drop of a hat. And so yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today, I guess, because I've been so frustrated with my health. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I shouldn't be 33 years old and having these problems. But I am. So, there's that. Okay, I'm gonna go now, because why not? I don't really have anything else to say, and I want to go cuddle with puppies, hang out with my husband, and then go do that. And I will see you people next Monday.